real quick recap from where we left off in class. That same impious, right? That same treacherous, that same awful rumor to her raging, to her as she raged, reported to her as she raged that indirect statement number 1 and indirect statement number 2. First mad verb. Well, second one, right? Because we had a furendi. She rages, like helpless in her mind, lacking in her mind, and inflamed, nominative describing her, throughout the whole city. She raves like a bacchante. And that's what it says next, right? Like a bacchante, or a Thyad, follower of Bacchus, like one of those, having been excitated by the stirred up sacred rites, when, with Bacchus having been heard, the subject, the triennial rites, the triennial mysteries, urge her on. And that's as far as you guys got in class, I think, right? And this Nocturnus Kithyron, that's the mountain where the Bacchic rituals take place. So we could say nocturnal Kithyron, nighttime Mount Kithyron, or Kithyron at night, wocots her with its shout, right? The mountain calls her with its shout. Finally, His goes with vocibus. Aineon is Greek accusative. She compellats Aineon with his vocibus, like furthermore, like as follows. Dissimulare looks like an infinitive. Etiam sperasti looks like it can explain an infinitive as like an indirect statement. But then we have this other infinitive, and posse explains infinitives, right? So that's going to be our main one, and it's going to explain dissimulare. Tantum goes with nephos, making it our object. I should actually move that. Oh, right. Tantum nephos. Did you even hope? Did you even expect? Vocative, the second one we've had. He was just recently called oblate by Mercurius, right? By Mercury. Now she's calling him treacherous, man. Did you even hope that you traitor, did you even hope, traitor, that you posse to dissimulare tantum nephos, so great a sin, and that you could decedere tacitus, that like adverbial, it means being silent, or like you, silent, subject, masculine. But in English we would say silently, right? Or in silence. That you could decedere, mea terra has to be ablative with decedere to make sense. We already have a nominative, it's Aeneas. Although I guess he's really accusative, although Sperasti doesn't need an accusative. Anyway, like that you could decedere from mea terra tacitus. Then we get a series of necks with an object and a subject. Noster amor. Another neck, the same object, and another subject. Another neck, no te this time, noticeable, but we do have another subject, and it's moritura dito, and then a verb that ties them all together. And it's like neither, nor, but we can, or neither, nor, but we can just say not for all of them. Does noster amor not tenet te? And does data dexter quantum, like this right hand once given, not tenet te? And does dito moritura from the ablative, or because of, or like of the ablative, not tenet te? Quin is a why question. And it can also mean why not, but we don't necessarily need to say not. So we're going to look at the sentence to see if the not is needed. Why even hibernum molire sidere classem mediis, there's our verb. And this is that same even from Etiam Sperasti, like, did you even hope? Did you even expect? This is like, why do you even properos, which explains infinitives, to moliri? Why do you even hurry or hasten? We've had moliri before in Virgil, like to build your fleet with a hiberno sidere, with a winter star, under the winter star, in the wintry season would be a good way to translate it. It is an os ris neuter noun. And And we don't need the not, right? Now that we've read it, we're like, it's not that he's not hurrying, right? Like, why are you even hurrying to do this? And why are you hurrying to do this other thing, right? To your other infinitive, to go through the deep, right? To sail. Those are waves. Made east Aquilona in the middle of the north winds, in the midst of the northerly winds. Another vocative, crudelis man, right? She's going to die of a crudele funere, and he's a crudelis man. Maybe he's what she's dying from. Interesting. And then we get this what, and it's got an if clause with an and that continues to this other subjunctive verb, and then like vaguely a main clause, but it also has a subjunctive verb, and it's a question, and like the what, we're going to see like what, we're going to hold on to that what, if, object and object, peteres, if you're not seeking arwa aliena and domos ignotas, and if Troia antiqua were manereting, what doesn't make sense because we have a Troia. So it's like, we wouldn't say what would Troy be sought or what Troy would be sought. That doesn't really need to happen. So it's almost like quid is its own entire question. Like, what the heck? What is going on? If you weren't doing this and this were happening, new question. Like, would Troy be peterated through the undosam ichor with or by means of your classibuses? Although it's really singular. New question. Me ne fugis. Remember that ne makes it a question. Me question mark as the object of fugis. Do you fugis me? Are you fugising me? Per does not take ego, right? Ego is the subject and it's emphatic because it's placed in a weird spot, so that's noticeable. And because we never need ego, so it's always emphatic. Per has lacrimas and per dextram tuam. Te looks like an object. I do something to you. Sorry, recapping this one because I paused and lost where I was. Through these things, I do something to you. And then this parenthetical quando, when, blah, blah, blah. And then we're continuing the pairs. Very repetitive here with the pairs. And then like a parenthetic if clause as well. And even though that's an I verb in this parenthetical, and that's an I verb in this parenthetical, they're still not the I verbs that explain this ego here, because they're parenthetical. So all we have is like pairs, subject, object, more pairs. Actually, this is not really going to work. We need to continue this if clause. If I did this, or if this was the case. This almost seems parenthetical. And then oro is finally the I verb that the ego goes with. So simply the sentence is, I beg you, right? Like through or by these things, right? By has lacrimas and by dextram tuam. Since, or like when, right? This, by these other things, I beg you. Here's the first thing that she's begging him, because it's an imperative, miserere. And then we get another if clause, and probably another imperative, exue mentem. So let's break this down further, right? So it's like, I beg you by all of these things. Since alia mihi gam miser, okay, mihi and miserai, good. It's like poor me, and it's dative, right? Aliud must go with nihil, probably the object of ipsa reliqui, subject. Since or when I myself, right, ipsa, have left nothing else now, or now have left nothing else to pour me, right? Like I have nothing left since I'm all miserable and everything, but it's literally since I myself have left nothing else to myself now miserable, or to pour me now. Right? Since I have nothing left, I beg you by these things, by Connubia Nostra, by our Inceptos Hymenaios, like our wedding vows having been begun. If, and remember quid after C nisi, after, C nisi numine, all the ollies go away. So it's an aliquid, right? Like, if I have deserved, and not just quid, but like aliquids and anything, if I have well deserved or well merited anything de te, or if, this is weird, or if anything of mine was sweet for you, if any part of me was sweet to you, here's what I beg you to do. We've already said the I beg you part, right? Have mercy or take pity or just pity. This is do mus labentes. Pity. I think it is. No, it is labentes. Lost my mind for a second. That is us, and labentes is not a's. It's genitive because pity takes the genitive. Pity a falling house, and exue istam mentem, and like shake off that mind of yours, but really like that idea of yours, that purpose of yours. Okay, like don't do it, right? I beg you. If our marriage and all of this thing, right? Like if we have any of like buy these things, I beg you, do this and do this. And then another te. Propter takes the accusative, right? On account of the gentes or because of the gentes of Libycae, and nomadum, and of the nomadum. Yeah. Tirani subject, odere verb. Infensi is like a nominative, and then we probably need a sunt. Infensi sunt. Tirii. So like yeah. On account of, what am I doing? On account of you. On account of you, the Libycaes gentes subject and the nomadum tirani, right? The tyrants, the rulers. It's not the negative tyrant that we think of, right? And the rulers of the nomads. Odera, short for oderunt. Oderunt me, right? They hate me, te propter, because of you, right? Because I took up with you. Even my own people, right? The Tirii are in fancy. Te propter, because of you. It's a song, right? I think. On account of you. On account of not just you this time it's eundem. On account of you going. And that's our, I don't know, participial form. On account of you leaving, my virtue, my pudor, my chastity, my all those things that pudor is, but I would say feminine virtue is extinctus or has been extinctus, and like the thing which by which thing alone, if we scan it also long, not I alone, but by which thing alone I was approaching the stars? Fama prior, like my pudor is extinctus, and so is my fama prior, by which thing alone, all I had was my reputation, right? My fama prior, like by which thing alone I was bombing the stars, the heavens. That's gone too. And then she asks him a new question. To whom, indirect object, me moribundum, and then my verb. To whom do you desiris me, being described once again as moribundum. And then she calls him, in the vocative case, a hospes, not a hostess, kind of the opposite, right? And it's like she doesn't have anything else to call him, and that's what she says, right? Since this name alone remains from what it previously was, what I thought I could call you, conjunx.